Hey guys, so we are jumping into the holidays with a DIY vintage wreath, and it involves doll heads. So I have this adorable friend who's very Hollywood glamour, and she collects vintage dolls. Some of them are kind of creepy, but this one she posted on her Instagram recently was so adorable I could not resist. So we're gonna be making something super similar to this picture right here. And you just have to have your own vintage doll heads, which you're gonna have to find at like a vintage shop. And then everything else you can find at your local, Joann's and or Target. So let's get started. This is gonna be so fun and perfect to get you in the Christmas mood.
Here we go. So all you need is a foam circle from Joann's and some tinsel from wherever. You need some ornaments and a doll head. Let's get started. First things first, take your tinsel and some scissors. You're going to be cutting pieces about 5 to 6 inches long, maybe longer depending on how big of a wreath you want it to be. I suggest cutting just one, wrapping it, and seeing if it seems like the right fit. Next, cut a piece of wire that you're going to wrap around, but before we do that, we're going to just hot glue a couple little dots so that it has an extra secure spot. Put your tinsel in place and kind of pinch the top while trying to wrap the wire around. I tried 2 different methods. The first method was I just twisted the ends together and then pulled both sides, and this created kind of a knot. And then later on I started actually just doing one knot and then another knot and just cutting off the extra. Both work fine, just figure out what is best for you. Now you're going to keep repeating this process until your wreath is fully tinseled. As far as spacing, you'll be able to see, you just don't want any of the green to show. The tinsel works really well, the glue helps it keep in place, so you'll see that one full thing of tinsel is usually gonna at least do this size of a wreath. So part of what I liked about this process is that different lengths make it look more vintage, but still you can come back and cut some of them to size to make it a little bit more exact. There are plenty of super small ornaments you can pick up at Home Goods or Target. I just picked up these little glass ones that look pretty vintage. And I put them together and they wouldn't stay together, they kept separating. So I decided to hot glue them together in order to create more of that clustered look, and I really ended up liking the end result. Here I'm just doing it again with only 2. So you're going to take your wire and just string it through the loops. And this time I did a lot more wire because I realized the other one was way too short. Because you want enough wire that you can wrap it around the actual wreath without a problem. So go ahead and string it through, try to make it go into the middle, and then we're just going to add our hot glue again. Next, we're going to create the bow to go around the neck of our little doll, since the poor thing doesn't have a neck. I made these super, super long, and I'm really happy I did. I really liked it. And at first I tried to tie a normal bow, but it just wasn't working. It wasn't the style I wanted, and the ropes weren't going the way I wanted either. So I ended up tying a knot. And then using the hot glue gun as my best friend, I just did these little cute loops. So that's an example, but I'm going to walk you through it really slowly with the little head. take your knot and just glob some hot glue on there and stick it onto the wire, whatever you're sticking it to. And you're just going to loop one of the ends and push that into the hot glue behind the little girl. Then I'm going to add more hot glue underneath that side. And be careful because this is literally where I burned myself in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I just stuck my finger right into that glue and it really freaking hurt. This stuff is really hot, so be careful. As you can see by just placing that other ribbon onto the hot glue, it really helps keep the ends of the bow off to the sides, which makes it hang really well afterwards. This one wasn't as even as I wanted, so I ended up delatching it and doing it one more time to make sure it looked super even. This time I was careful not to put my finger in the actual glue. Oh, so cute. Also, don't forget, if you do bring your finger, to use some cool water to relieve the bad burn. So we are almost done. Everything is just needing to be placed. We're going to start with the ornaments, and you're just going to wrap that wire around. Sorry, I fell a little bit out of it. And again, this time I had a lot of wire, and I just tied 2 different knots on top of each other, and it seemed really secure. You can cut off the excess wire later. And then I ended up just adding some hot glue around the little kind of ends that you secure it to, and that seemed to work really well. I also wanted something else to kind of counter the ornaments, so I bought these little snowflakes, and I ended up just using one each and kind of shoving it in between there and just adding some more hot glue. You can follow the exact same steps for your next set of ornaments, and it's going to look so cute. The next step is adding your doll head. I conveniently had wires already in these doll heads, so I was able to just push a little bit and puncture the foam. So I didn't even have to add any hot glue. I was just able to kind of wedge it in there, and she fit perfectly.
Alright, you guys, thank you for watching that wonderful tutorial that Kindle made.
Can you tell those were Ronnie's hands?
That was me. My hands are very delicate.
So to leave you off, we are going to have a little holiday magic.
Alright, let's get this party started in 1, 2, 3. How's that for holiday decorating?
I love it. So easy. And now we're going to do a close-up of those wreaths. Alright, you guys, so as you can see, these are the finished products. They are adorable, they are vintage, and I hope you have fun making one too.